Loading. Welcome to the best show on Friday nights.
Fumble a bag, now I when I fumble a bag. Fumble a bag, now I when I fumble a bag. Act like you know how this goes.
Your hosts for the evening: Molly Dorst, Jim Beard, and Lefty the Video Jedi.
What's up? Welcome to another Friday Night Live, where we here talk about all things about getting attention to your mission, your message, and your movement in a very ever increasingly noisy marketplace. Wow. So today I am joined here with the absolutely incredible, the absolutely stunning Left Terrace.
Hello.
I full named you.
You full named me.
I know.
Fun fact.
Excuse me. Oh my goodness.
As of Wednesday, apparently the last name is Koutros now because some people don't know how to pronounce my last name. So it's not Koutinas, it's Koutros. So I'm gonna go to the ministry. I'm gonna change.
Well, they just shortened it right up, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the ministry. I'm gonna just change all my documentation and paperwork, and I am now Lefteris Koutros.
It's really efficient. What they did to you there.
Just go full out. Just be Lefty K.
Lefty K.
Lefty
That's
K.
it, right?
There you go.
Or just drop the last name altogether. I'll just be like Lefty, like Cher.
And I'm also joined here by the absolutely incredible, absolutely mind-blowingly talented Molly. What is going on? Welcome,
Hello, everyone. I was outside waiting for a delivery that finally arrived.
I was doing hood rat things with my friends.
Yeah, yo. Oh my goodness.
So our question that we have to answer today is,
here we go.
What's your go-to marketing channel and why?
Hey team, I will be with you very soon. I'm just outside waiting for a package to be delivered, but I have a question to get us started this evening. I'm curious to know about the goals that you've set for yourself in the past. I know we all get into this and most of us set those big, huge, unrealistic goals, but there's something to work towards. And then we break those goals down and we create smaller and smaller goals that are more and more attainable so that we can keep moving forward each step. So my question for you guys is about what kind of goals do you set and how do you ensure that you move forward with those? Because when I get back upstairs, we're going to talk about what happens when you actually achieve those big goals. So take it away, Jim.
So meta right now. Oh my goodness. That just blew my mind. Is Molly even here right now? I don't know.
It's Molly and Molly, like picture.
Oh my goodness. Like I want to see a show where Molly interviews Molly.
We can make that happen. Can we make that happen, Lefty?
We can make that happen. We can totally make that happen.
Molly interviews Molly.
Yeah, leave your questions for Molly to ask Molly.
Molly before she made $1 million and post making $1 million.
100%. That would be really interesting. Yeah,
I actually kind of want to watch that. It was a joke before, but now it's for serious.
Do you see how anything can be turned into a documentary?
There you go. And we have the newest, latest, and greatest documentarian here with us, which is awesome. So to answer your question about what kind of goals do I set and then how do I pursue them?
How do you make sure that you stay on track?
And how do I stay on track? Okay. So I guess I'll give you an example. So I'll give you an example of one of the big goals that I set. And one of the big goals that I set was to make 30K in a month.
Yeah.
So how did I reach that? And how did I stay on track to reach that? So I had to break it out into bits. So if you're looking at this massive looming boom, boom, stomping down the street goal, it's overwhelming and you can just kind of shut down and feel like it's never going to happen. And I don't want that for you guys. And I didn't want that for me. So I had a mentor. So you got step one, get a mentor, have someone help you out along that path that they've already done, even if they're only two steps ahead of you. Thank you. That's my Aunt Kendra
your mentor
there.
Calling?
It's my Aunt Kendra.
that was Julie calling me.
Oh, Julie calling you. Maria Crystal Mello, what's going on? She's saying and giving a shout out to Mr. Lefty. So I set this goal. I want to hit 30 grand in a month. Okay. Big goal, right? Especially because the most I had made at the time was, I think, 12. So big goal, more than double of my current status goal that I had at the time. And so I had to break it down into bite-sized pieces. So I had to say, this is my goal for 6 months. Okay, cool. Let's break that down into 6 unique pieces, or even a multiple more than that, and then break them into those 6 pieces somehow. And then break those down into weeks and break those down into days. And that is how I kind of approached it, was that every day I have to do this little thing on my way to the big goal. So for me personally, the steps that I took were, my big goal was 30K. Then I broke it down into the 6 months. And each month I wanted to do I wanted to do 100 quality outreaches. Quality outreaches meaning like a Dream 100 scenario. For those of you guys that don't know Dream 100, it means that instead of having thousands of clients, what if you could just have 100 of like the best clients, like your favorite clients, like the ones that you could do work for. It's a breeze and they get impact out of it and they take action. What if you could have 100 of those versus 1,000 clients that have you running around crazy all the time? I'd rather have the 100. So
I'm 100. I'm looking for 10.
There you go. As an example, right? So each of those 6 months, I had 100 quality reach outs that I had to do. And then breaking that down further, you would go into 4 weeks. So 4 weeks into 125 a week, and then break that down per day. Each day I was trying to get in about 5 quality outreaches a day to get to that big goal.
And what would happen if you didn't reach that goal in a day for whatever reason? Life got in the way. What went
And it
through your
happened.
head?
It happened many times. You double down on it the next day. And I'm not saying double down meaning like instead of 5, go to 10. Do as many as is feasible, and you just move on. Because otherwise you get hooked in the past.
Yeah.
So do the best you can to try and get a little extra on the next day. But other than that, you're staying the course. So that is what helped me. And I reached that goal. So I got, that particular was 3 VSL clients from me. And I actually exceeded that the very next week by another 6K. So, but if I hadn't broken it down in those little bit-sized pieces, I would have been overwhelmed and probably have given up. Lefty.
Oh boy. What are we doing?
What is your approach to goal setting, and how do you make it so that you stay on track? Is that appropriate, Molly? That was essentially the question.
So what I do, see, here's the thing. A lot of entrepreneurs look at it as, how much money can I make in 30 days? I look at it as, how much money do I want to save in the next 30 days?
Okay.
So if let's use exactly your exact script. I want to make 30 grand. My expenses are, let's say, $5,000, $6,000 for the month. That means the remaining balance of everything and within that 30 grand is going to go towards savings. Because as we know, our most of the time, especially if we're starting out, you're not going to get clients all the time. You might get a client for a month, and then you won't see somebody for like 5 months. But guess what? The banks don't care that you didn't see a client for 5 months. So what are you doing in that time to stay afloat? So I do my very best, and sometimes it doesn't happen, but I do my very best. I plan out monetary goals in a way of like, what do I want to save that month? Because if we go into a recession, we are going into a recession. If we happen to go through another lockdown, if like whatever the case might be, I need to prepare myself for those times. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs are only like, yeah, man, we made the 50K private jet limos, bottle service, let's go, woo, yeah. And me, I'm just like, I'm like a bear. I hibernate. You know what I mean? Because the following month and the following month, I'm not scratching my head going like, well, shit, I don't have a client. But guess
Right.
what? I don't care because I have all that money saved up as if I did have a client. So I can continue staying at float. I can also do passion projects to help me get other clients when, let's say when the world isn't in turmoil. There's just, I just flip the script. I look at it from that point. It's like, how much do I want to save versus how much do I want to make? And then I try and reach a goal of that. And then what I do is, like, once I do that, like I said, I now have money to stay at float. And then it also funds, passion projects of mine, or it even just gives me the opportunity to do passion projects like when I don't have clients, because, the worst thing you can do, especially in like my line of work, and Jim, even in what you do, is like, hey, I'd love to see your portfolio. Sure. And then you send them a portfolio, and the most updated videos from like 2019, and it's like 2024. So I always create things within that time to keep my portfolio updated, even if it's just for myself. Yeah.
Molly.
Cool. Okay, so I when I think about crazy goals that I've set, and
Wait, hold on. Pause for just a second. What are you drinking?
It's water out of a wine bottle, but I just really like it. So
I just didn't know that you were that bougie. All right,
Well-
cool. Carry on, Molly. Carry on.
thrown off track now. My
Yeah.
Wendy's.
I mean, you
cup is
can't
up
just
there.
pull in one of those bottles and not have me say something.
Well, I mean, the wine, the wine was a gift. I just kept the bottle.
So when I think about setting goals and keeping on track to accomplishing them, I think about so I think about accomplishing some, like, one of the goals that sat on my goal achievement board for the last 2 years, and that is to write a book. But not just writing books for kids, like write a book for adults again. And well, how did I actually? Well, I'm still in the process of accomplishing it, but my little trick for staying on track is that I like to optimize as much as possible. So I look for spots of resistance. I look for spots that are making it difficult for me to move forward. Maybe it's a super tedious task. Maybe it's a big task that you really you don't know how to accomplish or whatever. I always look for those spots and take them as opportunities, take them as good things, because that gives me the new perspective of looking for solutions. So if it's one of the big things is I get overwhelmed when I have the whole rough draft done and now I have to go through and edit it. And that is, to me, a very tedious process. So the way that I have optimized this is I got the book printed in physical form with a rough draft cover on Amazon. So now I have a physical copy. I can go sit at the park. I can go to the cafe. I can sit outside if I want to. I can move around and I can highlight in all my different colors, which works well for me. And I've really smoothed the way through a task that would have stopped me in my tracks, would have been yet another rough draft that just sits on the shelf and doesn't move forward. So that's my little trick for everyone, is look for ways that you can smooth that out. Next big thing on my list is to, next big thing on my list is to get a better cover design. Bam, Fiverr, here you come. And then I'm going to get a proper editor and bam, I don't have to do that work. Yet another way to smooth out those points of resistance to accomplishing something big. Big. But okay, the reason I'm asking this, the reason I really wanted to do this topic tonight is, yes, I love talking about mindset and things like that, but we in this room right now have had a pretty big accomplishment that has happened to one of our incredible team members. And I really,
I'll give
I'm
you a
just,
hint. It's the blushing Greek.
yeah. So Lefty posted this post, and this is where I want you guys to get the picture. He posts a post about this really big event. It's actually a movie premiere that Lefty's been working on this documentary film for a long time. You have heard it all here. But what I thought was so cool is that in this post, he talks about his wonderful wife who looks at him and says, "Remember the time that you had that wild idea to have a movie premiere? Well, here it is, and it's happening. It's here right now." And I just, that feeling of accomplishment of, oh my goodness, I just achieved the unattainable. I just achieved that wild, crazy goal that I set, that all of those doubts inside me that kept popping up, I've proved them wrong. All of those doubts that came up from outside of us, I proved them wrong. And I think that's a really cool topic to talk about because it happens and it's something that's pretty awesome. But it also means we're stuck in the what's next. I've accomplished that big goal. Now, how do I move forward? What do I do next? So first off, Lefty, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us about the film. Tell us about the process. And then tell us about what happened 2 days ago.
Okay, so I worked on this project with Robert J. Moore for probably 3 months. Yeah, June, July, August. Well, I mean, if you want to count September too, it was almost 4 or 5 months. But yeah, he had this brilliant idea of documenting his life, and essentially he wanted it to be like an autobiography. And then we realized that I don't know if autobiography is really the right way of doing things. So let's do documentary. I said we should bring in some cameos of people to talk about you and certain parts of what you mentioned in the film, and just have it kind of all tie in. And we went to so many different locations. We filmed about 5 or 6 cameos. If you get the online version that we have on Vimeo, there's actually 5 or 6 pieces of additional footage that is not a part of the film. So that's extra bonus content, kind of like director's cut stuff that you won't see in the film. And then one day he turns to me and he's like, "Well, if we're gonna do this big." I go, okay, what do you mean big? And for those of you that know Robert J. Moore, don't know Robert J. Moore, he doesn't do anything unless he's planning to make a stink about it. So I'll be honest, I was kind of just following his lead. He is the PR genius. He is the branding genius. That guy knows his stuff. So I politely said to him, I said, "Robert, I know you know what you're doing. You do the PR stuff. Let me handle the editing and the filmmaking and all that." He said, "Done. No problem." He would be like, "I got this idea. We're going to screen it in person." Cool, man. Whatever you want to do. A couple days later, you know what? Screw just the in person. We're going to Cineplex. Okay, man. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I kind of just followed his lead in his direction. Now, what's happening and what's going on through my mind right now is this is the first time I'm having a film be featured on the silver screen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people normally look at my stuff either on a TV, a desktop, or a cell phone. This better look good because it's now going to be projected 60 feet by 75 feet. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
Shouldn't have done it in 1080. Dang.
Yeah, right? So the one thing that I found during this whole entire time is Robert gets an email, and it's from Cineplex, and they say, well, we take the film in one of two ways, Blu-ray or a DCP. And we're both sitting there scratching our heads. We're like, what the F is a DCP? I've never heard of this before in my life. What it stands for is digital cinema presentation. It is a picture like an old school hard drive, or if you literally take the case or the housing off of your hard drive and it's just all the components and the gear in that little metal finicky case. That's what DCP looks like. And it's huge. It's like it fits into like a server. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't know anything about DCP. I'm not going to go that route right now. I'm going to see if I can just get it done on Blu-ray, because I know Blu-ray. That's pretty simple. Swear to God, I called like 15 production houses. They're like, Blu-ray? Who has Blu-ray anymore? And I'm just like, oh, all right, well, I guess I'm shit out of luck now.
You should be doing DCP.
Yeah.
Click. They just hang up.
So I go, okay, you know what? I ended up calling this one company. They're like, you know what? No, we don't do Blu-ray. Do they take it in DCP? I go, yeah, I don't know what that is, but yes, they take it in DCP. Okay, perfect. What do I need to do? Well, you need to reformat or re-export your film in this setting and that setting and this setting and that setting, because we're going to take 4K and we're going to reconvert it to 2K, because 2K is the image that actually goes on the silver screen if it's IMAX. And he's just going through all this like blah, 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 mathematical equation stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, This thing took 3 days to export because I had to export the MOV file, which ended up being 342 gigs. No compressed, no MP4, no M4V, no compressed file. They need the .mov file. And on a 90-minute film, that came out to 340 something gigs. And I felt exporting my film, I felt like Alex Harmozy. I felt like I broke the internet because it was literally taking 3 days to export. So finally this happens. I get the film. I go, I test it. It's perfect. I'm watching it. I'm hearing it. And I'm just like, oh my God, this sounds great. But I only got to see like 5 minutes of it. Now, with all the PR stuff that came with it, all the branding that came with it, all the messaging that came with it, yes, it does take you a certain point to get to an up-branded level like I just did. What they don't tell you is that it happens overnight. So witnessing what just happened to me firsthand, because I'm talking to like film directors in the UK. I'm talking to people. I'm being introduced to people from Hollywood. I'm having like all these like big 2 Comma Club people now like messaging me and whatnot. The journey is 10 years, but when someone says overnight success, it literally happens that fast. Like you go to bed and you wake up and all of a sudden like all this crap is in your face, and there is no time to be like, I don't know if my offer is like, no, you just have to roll with the punches, because these people are coming at you fast. They're coming at you hard. They're not there to waste time. They want to book a call with you immediately. They honestly don't give a flying F if you don't have your shit in order. You just have to make it look like it's in order. So I went through like a lot of like little mini panic attacks because I was like, I don't even know if I'm ready for this. And yeah, we had an amazing premiere. We sold more than a handful of tickets. All amazing responses. Everybody had a great time. And I believe, from, if I remember correctly, I inspired Robert to start Resilience Media, which is, I believe, now going to be a production style house for film and television, which I was also presented this amazing Lifetime Achievement Award.
I was just about to share that. Oh, nice. So you got the real deal. I can't beat that.
So there it is from Resilience Media. We also won 2 times Best Documentary Feature, and I won Best Cinematographer of 2023, and we still are nominated for 13 or 14 awards that have not come in yet. So everything is just kind of like piling up on me. Yeah. Back to you, Jim.
Congratulations. That's it, man.
Thank you.
That's it.
and I
That's
think-
absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy for you, man. I know what the journey is like, and I definitely feel the overnight thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to go off of what Molly also kind of asked in terms of what happens next. Well, the beauty about this is like I'm working on a film with Tuan, and I'm like in the midst of all this success and all this craziness and all this happy times and people really just kind of like having their eyes on me now. I'm releasing Tuan's trailer September 15th, which is next week. So
Well timed.
I am literally, and I didn't do this on purpose. I initially wanted to release that trailer at the end of August, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm getting married. I'm not even gonna be here," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "All right, cool. Like, how does the 15th sound?" I just literally picked a random number because all this stuff with Robert wasn't happening yet. So he's like, yeah, cool. So the 15th sounds amazing. Perfect. Let's do it. And now I get to piggyback off of that success. And then Maria, who is an amazing actor, I worked on a short film with her as well. And then I get to piggyback off of Tuan's short film because I'm going to be releasing the trailer for the short film that her and I did probably in November or December. So it's literally just film after film after film and documenting and whatnot. And I even have already a bunch of people like wanting to film their documentaries and all that. So it's I'll be honest, doors are closed this year, but I am taking deposits for Q1 and Q2 2024. So if anybody out there is like wants their story told, like let's do that, because right now doors are closed. I am at my max, and especially I don't even know what the hell is going to happen at Funnel Hacking Live either.
Well, where can we watch our Robert J. Moore film?
It's on Vimeo. I will actually get the link for you guys right now.
Beautiful.
I've literally been sharing it all day, so it's somewhere up in the first couple DMs.
So while he's doing that, to you guys out there, what's the biggest goal that you've gone after and achieved? And then also, what's the goal that you still kind of look back on like almost? Or did you change that goal completely?
Yeah.
Did it grow with you? You know, because I've had some goals that I pursued that were very big. And then as I was about midway up to that goal, I deviated and went after a different goal, which looking back now, I wish I didn't. I've gone after different goals since then, but I feel like now my personal personality is that I need to seek and then attain those goals. Mark Stern, what's going on? We got Mark Stern with us. We got Jen St. John. We got Kaya. We've got Robert with us here. Robert Moore, the one that the movie is about. Cynic Lee, we got my Aunt Kendra, and we got Maria all watching us. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Happy Friday indeed, Mr. Mark Stern. So we're here absolutely excited for our own Lefteris, kicking some butt here. He's gotten some awards coming in. He's got a lot of attention coming in from his film that came out with Robert J. Moore, telling his story about how he kind of came up, and it was kind of a he was in the prison system and he had some bad habits at the time, and coming out of that to become a a very, very large speaking name and a very large business name. That is incredibly well known. This guy knows everyone, and the key part is they know him. That's the killer, man. I never know if it's Friday or Sunday. Well, we're here to remind you what day it is, Robert.
That is our sole reason for being
Friday Night Live, buddy.
So, Mark, I see you there in the chat. You have a 2 Comma Club award, at least one of them. So
Yes,
I'm curious, like, what was it like to set that kind of goal? What was it like to accomplish it? Were you setting goals ahead of time that like just didn't happen? Like, I'm curious, everyone listening right now, I'm genuinely curious because there is a mindset change that has to happen when we actually achieve those crazy, unimaginable goals. When we actually go, oh, wow, I pressed the submit button on my 2 Comma Club award. Whoa, this happened. This isn't just a dream anymore. Oh, my book is in someone else's hands. They're reading it. They're getting value out of this. Wow. My movie just showed up. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. So
funniest part to me is when I hear entrepreneurs say, I didn't even realize I passed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My accountant told me, or like I was going over some numbers and just happened to notice, oh dang, we passed 1 million. Huh.
Yeah. And it's like, where in that journey do you stop focusing on that goal itself and just enjoy the process? Or like, this is what I'm so curious about. And I'm Friday Night Live. You're going to be the first people I talk to about it. So give me some stories, people. Let me know what's going on.
So Molly, to you, you are in that club. What was it like for you? Did you even know when it happened?
I was the person who at first was like, oh, I'm so focused on this. But I had a different set of rules that I thought to get your 2 Comma Club. I have not submitted for mine. They changed the price, and I'm just like, I'm over it.
I just mean that you've hit $1 million.
Yeah,
so,
but
like, when did you realize that happened?
Yeah, it was this huge goal, and I was like, okay, so in my brain, it was there's a number goal you have to reach, like a money goal, but there's also a number of clients. So I just got into the journey and realized we hit the money goal, not knowing that I didn't need to hit. I thought it was 1,000 people on my mailing list. And I was like, no, I did these huge deal contracts, like hundreds of thousands of dollars kinds of things. So it was really neat. And now I'm more focused. I think Robert and I are kind of in alignment with this. I'm more focused on the people I'm impacting than the dollar amount at all now. Dollar amount simply enables me more access to tools and maybe more credibility. But in all honesty, the biggest mindset shift for me was thinking the number that really matters is the number of lives and the number of people who are impacted. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll personally never get my hands on a 2 Comma Club award.
Why?
I don't believe that.
Hold on a second. I never said I'll never be a millionaire. I said I'll never get my hands on a 2 Comma Club award. Why? Because I'm not going to let somebody dictate how many clients and how many this and how many that I have to get like an award. I couldn't care less for the politics. But I'm going to say it here.
It's just a number goal. It's just $1 million.
It's just a number goal, and that's a different story. But what I will say, if my community helps me get to that first $1 million, I will literally work to document someone's story for 12 months for free. And I will exclusively put everything on the back burner. I will literally put everything on the back burner and work with that person exclusively. Not to say that I'm going to have $1 million client. What I'm saying is those who help contribute to that $1 million, I will pick a number out of a hat or a name out of a hat.
Fill the hat with Molly and let's do this.
That is my testament. That is my testament to my own personal 2cc.
Remember back in the day, old school Friday Night Live statement here. We talked about comma hunting.
Comma hunting.
Yeah, we were comma hunters. Those who are on their path to getting their 2 comma club, they are comma hunting.
Where will you find your comma?
And this is what happens when we have a show that started at like 6 a.m.
That's true.
That's funny.
actually true.
Comma hunting. That's funny.
Comma hunting.
Yeah, and I think Alex Hormozy and Layla said it best that we, like in their case, they want to be billionaires.
Yeah.
And they go, we have to be billionaires to give on the level that we want to give.
I love that.
And I resonate with that. I resonate with that so hard. I resonate with that in a big, big way.
Well, Jim, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh,
Funnel Hacking Live last year, you told me about your why. And I think that's something I'd love for you to share with everyone, because that's really like our why. When we have that figured out, that's what drives us forward. We can change our offers left and right. We can change our niches left and right. But what stays the same is that deep passion for the change we want to bring about. And I think your story is just so beautiful. And like, I'm so behind it. Let me just put you on the spot there.
Oh, what's that story? I don't know if I've heard this story.
So one of which is Boys and Girls Club. So Boys and Girls Club, growing up, my mom worked in the day, my dad worked in the evening. So I never really saw each parent at the same time for a good stretch there. We'd go and see my dad every Friday for pizza at his work, and he would let me play with the high-lows, and I get to move around dumpsters as a little kid. And so in the daytime, when, you know, my dad would either be sleeping or be getting ready to go to work, I just got off school, I would go to Boys and Girls Club. And it was where I kind of came out of my shell a little bit. The rest of where I came out of my shell was as a bartender. But a big amount of growing happened at Boys and Girls Club. And that place has since closed down and become like a barber school. But I would love nothing more than to continue to facilitate Boys and Girls Clubs opening up all across Michigan, and obviously nationally. That would be a big deal to me. And then the next one is I worked in real estate for a short stint for about 2 years, to where I ran a company that would meet up and pair investors and tenants. And I just, for meeting them together, that was the transaction. So I was like Match.com for real estate.
Match.com.
And it also avoided me having to get a real estate license because I danced around the legalities.
Right.
But while I did that in Detroit, I saw so much blight and so much homeless and so many people on Section 8. And so many people just struggling, just trying to make ends meet, not knowing how they're going to feed their kids, not having a place to stay, not knowing how to get an address and a phone number so that they could get a job or have a place that they could be cleaned up. Because there are homeless shelters. There are. But they get overfilled and the lineup is insane. They're understaffed and they're underfunded. So a big deal to me would be to set up some kind of a tiny house living structure, take over like 3 or 4 blocks in Detroit, buy it all out and level down all of the burnouts and make that an area to where you have an address, a phone number, a place that you can be safe, a place that you can clean up, and a place that you can essentially start over again if you have that in you to do so, to give people a second chance. So that is incredibly important to me. And that is something that costs an enormous amount of money. So those are big goals that I have to make sure. Some folks are scared to stay there too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Jamie. You're absolutely correct. I want a found and safe, free place for rescued human traffic. Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. So, next thing I would want to do is to donate to stroke victims and helping them out to get through that process. And then also uh, research. All of these things are things that have affected me in some big way in my life. Stroke is what my father passed away from. So that one hits me in the feels. And the next thing is my mom. My mom was incredible for me growing up and still is to this day. And I want to make sure she's taken care of, that she doesn't have to worry about a mortgage or working at a job that she absolutely despises, or, you know, having to work hours to where she feels like she's just going to pass out. I want to take that from her and allow her to do things that she wants to do. And of course, my brother and his sister and any friends that are in my inner circle. My goal is always to bring everyone with me. Always. I've always hated the visibility or the idea that to become successful, you have to smash down everyone else. And then by default, you're the last man standing. So you won't. I can't stand that mentality.
I'd be too old.
I want to take everyone with me.
Yeah.
And so
I feel that.
all those things together are a lot more than something that 10K a month can yield.
Yeah.
So I have big wants in this world, and those wants are to improve this world. And so to go with those big wants, I have to also bring in big amounts of income.
Yeah. They see you.
And
the whole chat sees you. Like pretty amazing. So thank you for sharing that, Jim, because I hold that story close to my heart when I remember when I need to remember why we're doing this. When maybe the latest piece of content I put out doesn't have the most number of likes or shares or whatever. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. It's about the much bigger picture. And I think it was already brought up here in the chat that the more money we're able, here it is. Millions earned is just more to give away. You get back what you give. And I love that. That is the mission behind visibility hacking. When I was growing up, I had really successful businessmen around me in my family, but they all kind of shooed me away from any of those conversations because, well, it wasn't my job to bother myself with going to school even. It wasn't my job to focus on building a career. It wasn't my role to be focused on trying to learn to run a business. Those are all guy things. Should focus on cooking and getting a husband. And I just thought that was such a shame. And when my grandfather passed, I realized how much I lost out on those connections, those moments I could have had sitting on his knee, learning about how he went from sweeping floors to being the president of the company. Because that is the journey I've always wanted to open up. So for me, visibility hacking is about learning those secrets and sharing them with people, the people who have been shut out of those conversations for far too long, because I truly believe that diversity is our strength. And if I can use my platform to support that, to get more people interested in taking charge of their social world, as well as their finances, as well as sharing their, what I like to call their superpowers with the world and making the world a little bit better because we as humans chose to do that, to take action. Well, that's what I'm about. So you're not getting rid of me anytime soon, people.
Love it.
Nope.
Lefty, what's your why? What got you into this whole thing? What carries you through?
Besides doing a completely full circle because it ran in my family. I think after the family scare that we just personally had, and then really starting to think about how much of time is borrowed. Like it's not given to us. We don't earn it. It's all borrowed. And there's in the last 2 years, in the last year and a half, I should say 2 years, there's been more 30-year-olds dying than 70-year-olds. And I kind of started to realize, like, if you look back at the 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds, there was a time where maybe those families growing up in the 60s and the 70s, even 80s and 90s, probably couldn't afford a good camera or couldn't afford a good video camera to just even take like their own home videos, or some families like just weren't that tight. They maybe people didn't get along or whatever the case might be. And then what happens when you find somebody on, let's say, their deathbed or their death week or their death month or whatever? The only thing that you think about at that time is you want to go through photos, you want to go through videos, you want to try and listen to as many voicemails as you can, especially after the person has passed. And because nobody knows if we're going to wake up tomorrow, I think it's sad that there are a lot of stories that go untold, because nobody took the time to think that their story is important. I have people that are like multiple six-figure earners coming to me and saying things like, I don't have a story. Like, what can you possibly say about me? But they're brilliant. They've had so much experience. They've gone through so many things, but a lot of people don't think that is worth it. And I kind of show them that you don't have to be the guy who was eating out of a trash can and then became a millionaire to be to be interesting. You know what I mean? It's this thing where I want to be able to document as many people as I possibly can, because whether you're doing it for business or whether you're just like, you don't even give a crap about the ROI and you're just doing it so your family can have something of you when you pass, like there's nothing more important than that. Because there will come a time where you are going to rush for that photo. You are going to rush for that video. You're going to rush for that voicemail, and you're either not going to have it or you're not going to have enough of it. So that's why documentary filmmaking is very important to me.
I can attest to that. My father didn't make an amazing documentary. What he did make was a video at my cousin's wedding, my cousin Audrey's wedding. And it's one of those things to where they sang along to a song and then they cut them all together of all the different people singing one song.
Nice.
And my father is a human cartoon character. So he was ridiculous, going over the top, and just, I mean, I get it from somewhere, just so you guys know. And it's the only video I have of him to this day. I have watched it no less than 60 times. And so it does mean a lot to have that. So I can speak to that from a very personal place. It means a lot.
Oh, what song was it?
Close to You. I forget who sings it.
Oh, okay. So it's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Oh man. I just totally off topic, but segueing with that, my father passed in 2016, and I have hilarious photos that I found in my grandfather's house of my father growing up, like my dad as a teenager in cutoff jean shorts, like shorts. No men should ever wear shorts that
all short. Men should wear shorts so that you can look back on those photos and say, what were you thinking, and laugh. Yeah. Take one photo. Just take one photo. They should have rental. Short rental. So you can just get the picture taken, hide it away. Shorts rental.
Cut off jean shorts and a giant like Bob Ross style hair bob and beard combo.
It's amazing.
I love
Lounging,
it.
it gets better. Lounging on like a sun lounger chair in the backyard. This was the greatest find of my life.
See what I'm saying here? Short shorts rental. Just get the picture taken, hide it.
That's it.
Welcome to Friday
Let
Night Live.
people
where
find
we
it
will
way
give you-
later.
And then get it edited in like sepia or like
Oh,
very
perfect.
contrasty black and
Perfect.
white.
See?
Go to Walmart, print it, and then after you print it, take a lighter, burn the edges
Yep.
a little bit,
Fold
make
it
it
a little
really
bit.
old looking,
Put it in
Yep.
the time capsule.
and then put it up in the attic somewhere. Let it get all dusty and gross, and then someone's gonna just one day and be like, "Oh my God, that's my great grandfather. Look at those short shorts."
I've welcome to Friday Night Live, everyone, where we will not only entertain you, but we will also give you legacy building business ideas. So
These are the times, folks. These are the times.
Oh man.
These are the jokes, folks. Yeah.
Speaking of pink tutus, I have a funny story about that. One Halloween, I went to a party dressed as like those rave girls.
Wait, Jen goes, Tammy. Oh, I love that response. I can hear it in my head. Tammy.
But I actually went to a Halloween party dressed as one of those rave girls in like a colorful tutu and those big fuzzy boots, and I put my hair in pigtails. That's
funny. Amazing.
It was funny.
Did you cover yourself in what Taylor Swift and her fans called friendship bracelets, but we used to call candy?
Oh yeah, I was up to the elbows, man. I even had a pacifier in my mouth. I went super rave.
Yes.
There's a picture of me that exists somewhere. I don't know where it went, but it is of me. I went to a Halloween party and I dressed up as a cop, and I just had the whole outfit. And I don't grow a lot of chest hair, so I bought a sticky beard and I put it right there, and it poofed out the top with a cop suit. And I had the mustache and the whole thing. And at the end of the night, I was overheating, so I took it off, and I was leaning on this car. So there's a picture of me shirtless with a pasted on beard with the mustache and just leaning on this car because I was just overheating. So that one's for you, kids.
Nice.
Okay, let me bring this. I like this challenge. Let me bring this back to talking about our whys. So I love Halloween. I love that we are segueing to Halloween. Part of my why in my non-business life, in my day-to-day actions, is about being a caring adult that wasn't necessarily around when I was a kid. I had great people around me, don't get me wrong about that, but I know that there are so many kids who don't have that caring adult. So I use my life as an opportunity to create those moments. I'm a teacher. I teach children. This is my job. So, okay. So for Halloween, what I do is I go full out with decorations. I don't do the like haunted house, spooky, scary, you're going to feel terrified to come here, but I celebrate the joy that is Halloween. And I celebrate the kids' accomplishments and their confidence. So if they're able to make it all the way up my front patio to my front door, they're getting tons of candy and treats. Like,
but you make it
yes.
really hard to get to the front door. Like there's obstacles and like attacking.
Sometimes, yeah, there's people that jump out at you, but surprisingly, the scariest thing I put out there is my adorable dog who sits in the window and barks because she wants to be pet. That's what terrifies the kids. But if they can come to my door and they can say trick or treat, or they can even just look me in the eye because they're really, really little, they're going to get rewarded. And it's creating that experience that I always wished we had when I was a kid, and being able to have the resources to every year buy new Halloween stuff, to fill up on my candy and treat bowls. Like, these kids don't just get double handfuls. I have like specific scooping mugs that I use to fill up these kids with their stuff. And it's all because the businesses that I run allow me to be able to create these moments in my community. So,
Molly,
bam.
I think I'm gonna come assist this year.
Yes. Oh my God, please.
I think I'm gonna come assist this year.
I love it.
I will pop out of a tree and scare a mother. You have no idea. Okay,
I'll scare a mother.
You can hang me from your roof, and I'll just. I don't care. Like, you just. I don't care.
My best friend Ryan and I, growing up, we did a haunted house in our front yard, and so we made an electric chair. We made a guillotine.
Oh my goodness.
We made a ghost that I actually was in the tree dropping it on people. We went hard, like real hard. And our house was the one to where kids would get up to it and they'd cross the street. And we'd be like, it's okay. We're just nice. We just don't mind the blood. Like, step over here. And I remember our neighbor had out all those really cute, like wooden cutout things with pumpkins and, candy, like arm in arm skipping and stuff. Yeah. And they got in the dang newspaper. And I remember it just crushed my soul that they couldn't just go and take one pick, just one pick. They couldn't do it.
I'd say like the cool streets.
And I was encouraged because my neighbor on the other side, his name is Gary, he did this in his front yard. So I was inspired by him. And we went every year, we'd add 2 or 3 new things. And it just got to be this massive thing. So it was like an on the block haunted house. So then we put up signs. We put up signs in front of the house, like at the border of the houses, saying, you'll still get candy, I promise. Like, nothing's going to hurt you here. So.
Yep. Oh, I love that. There's a street in Toronto where I don't know the full backstory, but I believe the story is that someone set up this huge, like 2-story Santa inflatable at the front of their lawn. And someone complained about it or something. And so the neighbors, the rest of the street, everyone got the exact same inflatable Santa, and the whole street, every year they do this, is lined with these 2-story Santas.
Awesome.
And it's those moments of community when we're able to bring that connection out into the real world. That's what I'm all about. It's not about filling up your bank account. It's about, as cheesy as it sounds, filling up your heart. Oh, that was so cheesy, but it felt so right.
Honestly, I'm gonna be there this year, Molly. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna come. Bells ringing. I don't even know what should I dress up as. What are we doing?
Can you guys make Toronto like closer somehow?
Dude, how much closer can we get to Michigan?
Hold on a second.
You just have to like jump off the mitt, and we're there.
Jump off the mitt.
Jump off the mitt.
My best friend lives
in
London.
Awesome.
We are 5 hours away from each other. I drive there all the time. You can make a drive. It's only 4 hours.
So Lefty, go pick him up.
I'll come pick you up. You just meet me. You just meet me in.
You got one of them fancy self-driving cars. I don't have one of them things. I tell you what.
Just meet me at the border. Guys, don't mind me. I'm just getting this guy.
Yeah, he's just in here sleeping.
What we do for Halloween is I have this inflatable, like Jack Skeleton looking guy that's taller than a 2-story house.
Nice.
And right behind me, so there's a sidewalk, and then right behind me is a grade school. So all the kids that are walking by, they see my house. So for the few days leading up to Halloween, we know we have to have dynamic demonstrations. So I am slowly adding new pieces of decoration. And you can see the kids getting curious. Like, what is that hanging out there? what is that? And then the day before Halloween, which this year is going to be the Friday before Halloween and the entire freaking weekend, I'm going to have this giant, all the inflatables out, the whole deal, so they know they show up. But the thing is, I have to put signage out, not the same kind that you put out, Jim. I have to put signage that says, candy starts at this time. Don't come on your way home from school because I won't be ready.
Yeah, the street I'm on now is not, it's like really cut off on both sides. So it's only like a block and then it cuts back and it like goes like a triangle. So we're like at the peak of the triangle and then it gets wider as it goes backwards. So we don't get a lot of traffic up here. So I wish that I like I said, it's making a lot of sense. What's that?
My road is like a highway. There is no stop on my street.
Yeah, see, that's awesome. That's perfect. But it's just a straightaway. That's the best way to be.
It's literally like an 80 zone. People are going anywhere from 100 to 120 kilometers per hour.
With their pillowcases out?
Yeah. You know, like, no, there's no stopping on my street. But we have, because of the land size that we have here, we get the most coolest Christmas displays. Like, talk about like half acre lots with just lights everywhere. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Tammy, that sounds a little bit creepy.
Yeah, she did not intend it that way. Tammy, that came across. That came. Yeah, we'll let it go. But I want you just for a minute to think about little me, and then my buddy are out in the backyard. My dad comes out back, and like my back is to him, and we're trying to rig up this guy that's holding up his own head. And the head falls and rolls away, and it's got blood all over it. And my dad's like, "What you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna make this guy. He's gonna throw up, and he's gonna hold up his own head, and he's gonna do this." And I'm like, "It's gonna be sweet." We're so pumped. Like, that's how excited we were. Oh my god, it's gonna be so freaking cool. And he's like, "Hold on a second." He goes inside. He comes back out with walkie-talkies. He goes, "Plop one of these in there." So I put a walkie-talkie in the head that went, and he's inside going, "Hey, kid." With the head that's holding up his own head. So it's headless person holding up their own head. And then he goes, "Hey, kid." And he's in the window, like with the curtain just like cracked a little bit. "Hey, kid."
My best friend used to come over for Halloween and he'd bring his amp and his microphone and stuff. And so we'd do the same thing. We would hide his amp in the butt end of a giant jack-o'-lantern so you couldn't see that the amp was there. And I do the same thing with the smoke machine. I hide it in the pumpkins. And so the kids kind of died down. It was getting late. The teenagers were kind of just straggling. But we were still up. So we're sitting there saying like, "Hey, kids, you want some more candy? Come on over. Just follow my voice."
Nowadays, that's at least an overnighter in the tank.
No,
And then,
yeah.
"Hey, parents,
You're gonna have some
forget to
progressive
check
parents
razor
just hear about it in the
Oh
morning.
God, you did not just say that.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
It was
that's
great.
amazing.
It was great. But yes,
Yeah.
I think it's time to wrap up tonight's show. Thank
All
you
right.
for amusing me with the discussion about Halloween, my favorite topic to always discuss.
Oh yeah.
And that's not creepy at all. That's it.
Oh, Tammy, I love you.
Maybe we'll involve the Tesla too. Get the lights flashing. I'll use the megaphone.
Yes, because your Tesla can talk to
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
You
Oh my
could
God,
just
we have
send
to-
it somewhere without you, and then it could just scare people on the journey.
True.
It's even
You
more
could just stay home. You could just stay home.
I don't. It's not that advanced yet, but one day.
Yeah.
We could set it up with my neighbors across the street, and your Tesla can talk to his Tesla, and it can have this like automated conversation back and forth all night.
That's it.
Yeah.
We can have fun. Oh, so many things. But Molly asking Molly questions, I think this is great. So don't forget to drop your questions in the comments. We're gonna make this happen.
Oh
It's
yeah.
gonna be a project. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for yet another episode of Friday Night Live. So good to have the whole team back together. Thank you all so much for joining in the conversation. That was fantastic. fantastic. We love you all so much. Jim, what do you got to say?
As always, time's the only resource you don't get replenished. So thank you so much for spending it here with us. We hope you've gotten some value out of tonight, something you can use in your own life, and ways, of course, to get more attention onto your mission, your message, and your movement in an ever so noisy marketplace. Molly.
Congratulations, Lefty. Great work. Keep on going. We're so proud of you.
We gotta end it with Lefty. We gotta end it with Lefty.
You gotta end it with me.
So
Lefty, what am I gonna say that I haven't already said?
Throw him out.
You want me just to play We Are the Champions? Like, what do you want us to play for?
You know what? At the end of the day, whether it's done professionally or on your own, just document everything. Like even if you're just gonna cut the damn thing in CapCut or iMovie or whatever you're gonna use, or like I said, you're gonna do it professionally, just make sure that you have a hard drive full of memories and you know just exactly who it's going to go to, and just don't be afraid to get your story out there. If you think you're boring, believe me, you are not. And that's it.
Love it.
You are not boring.